To open our event, I'd like to please invite His Excellency Ambassador Husam Zomlot. Thank you.
Masā al-khair. Good evening, my friends, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, friends. It is indeed a privilege and an honor to be here among you tonight with such an array of stellar voices in support of Palestinian rights and in support of justice and law in general. And you've just heard the list of names participating in today's evening, in tonight's evening, I mean. You know, I just came from the big march. My voice still there, Ibtisam. But allow me to really give a special note of thanks and gratitude and appreciation and love to Yusra Al-Gunaidi, who has worked tirelessly for 6 months to put this event together, and who is living and a living proof that solidarity in support of Palestine and Palestinian rights has nothing to do with being Palestinian and everything to do with simply being human. Thank you, Yusra. Thank you, Suha. Thank you, Ruwaida, and everyone else who has worked to put this event together. Your efforts are indeed invaluable. My friends, I think we need look no further to answer the question of where international law stands on Palestine than the Israeli designation of 6 Palestinian rights groups as terrorist organizations in October 2021. Among them, the oldest and the most respected rights group, Al-Haq. I had the privilege myself to work with Al-Haq throughout the years. And I remember very well how much such a solid institution has been a bedrock for defending Palestinian rights, for exposing the systematic, chronic violation of our rights by the occupier, by Israel, for partnering with our other national institutions, including, I remember, our UN bid to become member of the United Nations, and many other efforts, contributions by this very important, crucial, significant institution. And I am so proud and honored to call Sha'wan Jabbareen, my brother and my friend, the director of Al-Haq, who is with us here today. And that designation by Israel led to lots of protests around the world, with the UN, the EU, and others condemning such an Israel's move. But action, no action. There has been no action, no consequences. There have been none. This is a pattern, my friends, a pattern that has repeated ever since the State of Israel was created after the ethnic cleansing of 2/3 of the Palestinian people in 1948. Israel has been allowed to ignore international law at will, whether that is to prevent the right of return of our refugees, including my own parents and many of yours, or to prevent our right to self-determination. It has been allowed to commit war crime after war crime, a crime against humanity after a crime against humanity. From its settlement project in occupied territory to arbitrary killings and murders, detentions without trial or charge, and indiscriminate bombings. Throughout this year and throughout that time, it has slandered Palestinians and those who stand up for Palestinian rights as terrorists or terrorist sympathizers without a shred of evidence. So any Palestinian now or Palestinian supporter is either a terrorist or a terrorist sympathizer, and they invented a new term, human shields. And all that is to legitimize murdering us en masse. It has even done so with the United Nations itself, including declaring UNRWA a terrorist organization. And now, the audacity, now they declared the UN Secretary General himself a persona non grata. Actually, he deserves that applause. They only declared him a persona non grata because he stood up for the very house, for the very institution, for the rules that he represents and defends. Yet, Israel has gotten away with it for decades without punishment or sanctions. This is absolute impunity, my friends. Never in history there has been a country, a regime, that has enjoyed such absolute impunity like Israel. And 3/4 of a century of absolute impunity had led us directly to this point, this very point. 1 year of genocide. Genocide. And I must say that this impunity is originated and maintained, sustained here in the West. Be it the UK, be it the US, be it other backers of Israel, shielding Israel from any accountability. And you have followed the silence of the world, the official world, over the last year of genocide. But this is changing, my friends. It is changing. I've just came back from that national march. What a scene of inspiration, of hundreds of thousands of people, British people, cross community, the sense of unity and diversity, the sense of commitment, and the energy to go all the way. This is a movement. This is people's power. I've seen it just a few hours ago. And it reminds me, and it should remind all of us, of the anti-apartheid movement. And guess what? The anti-apartheid movement emanated from London. Here was the epicenter. And it's happening again to the Palestinians. There is a global movement emanating from London, non-stoppable, going after a year, and it will keep going. And they are not intending only to go to stop the genocide, but it has all the making to go all the way to the finish line. And the finish line is liberation. The finish line is freedom. But my friends, the stakes could hardly be higher. What is at stake is international law itself, the global rules-based order, and the very idea of international institutions to secure peace and justice. International law and the global order are at an inflection point in every single sense of the word. They stand for or they fall with Palestine. It's as simple as that. This is the litmus test. And not just Palestine, but Palestine and Lebanon and the region and all nations of that region. What happens in Palestine now will determine not just the fate of Palestinian people, not just whether or not our region descends into all-out war, but the future of the entire globe for the next many, many generations and many decades to come. And please read my lips here. Everybody is watching. Everyone is watching. They either learn the lesson that you can get away with it, or they learn the lesson that law is applied equally. And the stakes could hardly be higher, so thank you to everyone here tonight. Thank you for your solidarity, your support. Thank you for your efforts. Thank you for supporting El Haq Europe. It is through initiatives such as these that we have clearly taken a stand against those who would revert us to a world determined only and entirely by hatred, by negation, by supremacy, by violence. You know, today at the march, I did say that Israel is losing because the only option they have is violence. But we have way more options. We have the clarity of the law, and you have seen what the ICJ has come up with. That's the highest court of the land. We have the clarity and the political decision-making of the international institutions. You've witnessed what the UN has decided, that Israel has to quit its occupation within maximum a period of 1 year. And we have the growing millions of people. However, together, my friends, in order to keep alive the dream of a world of justice where we all are equal under the law, it all starts with people like you, with events like this, with congregations like this, with energy like this. So thank you and keep going. Thank you very much.